G'day guys, Clint here, recording episode number 27 of In the Car with Clint. Today is a unique episode because it is a Sunday. And as you know, this is a weekday thing, but I really wanted to talk to everyone today about anxiety and my experiences with anxiety over the last 4 years. I think I've kind of lost track of how long. But I have had a few situations, probably for 5 years now, I think, actually. And it's interesting that this is the Easter weekend, and the first time I went to hospital with what I thought was potentially a heart attack was 3 or 4 years ago on the Easter long weekend. Oh, maybe it was last year, actually, because no, it wasn't last year. We were doing the lawn last year, so say the year before. And I didn't really understand what was going on. I just had this tightness in my chest, and it kind of it existed for so long, and I couldn't work out why, and I couldn't put my finger on what it was. And then obviously went to hospital, and you know, when you go to hospital with chest pains and anxiety related symptoms, they do a blood test and an ECG and try and determine whether or not you've had a heart attack, and then whether or not you need to have any further treatments. And turns out I hadn't had a heart attack, and that I needed to go see my GP. Now, run forward maybe 2 years, I went and saw the GP. So not the poster child for doctor visits, sadly, and I'm not encouraging you to do that. But throughout the last, I guess, 2 or 3 years, I was having anxiety attacks from time to time, and it was generally at night. You know, kind of wake up at about 12:30 or 1:30 in the morning and would be tight of chest, and then an anxiety attack would ensue. And in some cases, I feel like the anxiety attack was really, it just existed because I started thinking about I might be having an anxiety attack, and then it kind of just turned into one. And I think that can happen for a lot of people. And so I started trying to address my anxiety at the time, and for my whole adult life and part of my child life. I've been drinking alcohol very regularly, and I'm a very unhealthy human being from a diet and exercise standpoint. So I started thinking, okay, maybe I could exercise more, stay hydrated and meditate, blah, blah, blah. All the things that you know that are going to benefit you from a mind, body and soul standpoint. But at no point did I remove alcohol, because it couldn't have been alcohol related, because alcohol has been a best friend of mine for 20 years, more, 23 years probably. I started drinking roughly when I was 15 years old. And I don't think that's uncommon for my generation. I think that I'm glad to see that the younger generation now are taking more care of their bodies, and they're more focused on looking good, because it gets more likes on Instagram. But whatever the reason, so I have just finished a 60 days of no alcohol. I didn't drink for February and March, and surprise, surprise, no anxiety attacks at all. I felt lighter emotionally than I have for years. I was more focused, I got more work done, I was able to work more hours a day, I've had better relationships with my children and my wife and my friends and my family. I was more present during events. I'm just an all-round better person to be around. And I've talked about this so much, and I remember journaling about this in 2016, about how I know I'm a better person without alcohol. And sadly, I've let it go as far as I have, to the point where I think now the only reason that I've stopped drinking is because the anxiety attacks, the pain of an anxiety attack dramatically outweighs the pleasure, or the perceived pleasure, you get from drinking alcohol. And I just can't do it anymore. Like, it just broke me. So I, obviously, this being the Easter weekend, had alcohol on Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Today's Sunday. And I was a lot more conscious. I spoke to a friend who had stopped drinking alcohol because of anxiety and the way it made them feel the next day. And I said, you know, how are you going? And they'd had a drink recently, and just reminded me to be really conscious of myself, and be conscious of how I felt after each drink, and not to kind of get caught up in the drink for drink situation that a lot of people like me and salespeople and blokes, and it's not just men obviously, but that was always like, you want another one, you want another one, you want another one, and it was just stupid. Like, there was periods where I was drinking 30 and maybe up to 40 standard drinks in a drinking session, and I say that I guess more to highlight how bad it was. It's not a badge of honor, and I think people genuinely don't believe how bad it was. But through the peak of my anxiety, through the year of COVID, so the April to April, and especially the first month of COVID, I was drinking 15 to 20 standard drinks a day, every day, and then getting up and going to work and functioning as what I thought was functional anyway. So I've come off the back of that now. I had alcohol, like I said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I didn't like how I felt the next day. I still love the taste of a really nice craft beer, but I just don't believe that I still have the same relationship with alcohol that I did 70 days ago. And I think that this is a new stage for me, and it's taken a long time to get to this stage, but I just don't feel like I need alcohol in my life like I once did. And I guess wanted to share my story a little bit, just to encourage you that if you are suffering from anxiety, I get it, and it is real. For a long time, I thought people that suffer from anxiety and depression were just weak and didn't have the strength to deal with it, and I know it's not the case. And since speaking out about my struggles with anxiety, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and tell me about their struggles, and it happens so much that you don't know about. The people that you live with could be dealing with it, the people that you work for could be dealing with it, and I think it's a reminder just to be kind. You don't know what people are going through, and I say to you, if you are struggling from anxiety and you are consuming alcohol in some quantity, just think about it. Like, I'm not here to preach, I'm not here to talk about you should or shouldn't drink, because I'll drink again, and I drank yesterday, but I believe, and there's probably a scientific reason behind this, that alcohol consumption and anxiety have a direct relationship, and if you can reduce or remove alcohol from your life, then the anxiety you might have been suffering from will maybe lift slightly or completely disappear. For me, it disappeared. So I just wanted to talk about that. I know you guys are not big fans of long form videos, so I better wind it up. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, I appreciate it, and if you could be a bit more conscious about the things that you do and how they make you feel, and be more like, move with intent rather than just being, I think you have a happier and more fulfilling life. Be kind to each other. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you on Tuesday.